nefe majima kunya wo fa wade nyina antipart mama part ofra mi bia magiso ni bunfuda so se no ene duo sa na ne se ya frefre mo fra nyina me enura no ya woda no ni enura ni nyina no government schools ni de fan no ara je se dudu ara almost ma kwan ma ne de omo ewufie enam mini omo je omo adwene ahome sanse adwene abre for so many months and then omo de asua de enti edu bra ya ma awomje de a na wo se awomje na etime ya adwuma eno ene se ma mo friends en fie oba won suare and I want to be bia waso enti de medical can say oh from live on Facebook no mo share ya da mo se afi so omo biem kahu memia ahodo and so missing centers and amateur so they can say asada enkamo sanse mo amwa ama mo free anti we ni nyina ka be de na ni bi wa yesua o se ma yesa wo pen enti obi biara wanyini na etoaso ko du ba bi mpempe so bi no se usa kete na se nyame wadom na osaka afutuo ene nioma experience o ma from de chewa na so ya bofra na afa bi atukotodwum sarenti esokoto so bi tu nafa adu atukotodwum dachi ebe ba pa sabi afutuo be wo kra enya maame enya papa no ene de man ya dodo nara bebre na efara efri enipa ye ne ho enam enipa ye ne ho etie enipa omokasa ye ho eni nipa woni ye eye na sometimes yefa eni ye bebre ewo ho eni nti na ye kan say ye do say emprebre wo dia to Opemsuo radio 104.7 na utie amofra I love you so much. Na minim say nyankopon adom bebre na ba fie ni de ahweye na fe so we so na masua de wo samusua ebrenum amamo ebra beboa mo amamo so mu de asua bribi ewo fie na kire esie awo esua osiesie esua se esi kasa yesua se esi mpo ewo horo nioma esua se esi nioma esua se esi prepra and say clinic and other parts in the house akani nano akonya wo mamo se mubishia titi no nwa wadu neji for no me che teenage ne che se wona de nwa ma so na me do akotum ne che se se obegina 13 14 15 le akwabi kan se 11 there be 13 14 15 na odesa na akaje mama menim hwe sabi intimi mpo na mahoro me andiwell na chese wontimi wanda wo ne dia ene na chese wo se misa so mu a na mausi me pebe bi me do ato but before na de me kan se me chia mu a mo de futuo ba me yetimi de ba ebo amofra ni nyina so ye de mase ena so da me buafu na me de nam na so na metemanim chese asem no na agim no bubu kakra me de video ema me bajo na so me hwa na se da bi asem yesi na na asa dia me pe no sanse eno na ene ekum ye bebre bibirima mu ye ho wonwa asem bi ebeso na ne nyankopon dom agosi broni dressing aba enti usi aba ya uhunu na ahia brewa uhunu ni kire aye nyina ya bope nyina ya hyepe bibia no chese abro she skinny akra she skinny edo agosi broni ya sesi ode bedum ye na ye nso so ya fa ya som se kuma eno sa na ye hyekura ma ne bro esi gosi broni she mini gosi broni ni nya wo hye no se bi eburu wo hye bi bi sase de ata no kama ha so de da de wa hye ni mini no kura no a wo so ase bibia sase no eno se bi eburu obehunu nyina bibia egwabonte ne kese na ye ton free bento anya de ese ha ho no akodem awakohwe bia ni eno na ne akosi broni de aba na aba bedum ye kosi broni aba se fe ye kasa ye kampo no waba be sesa no se hey mokura mukasa mukanye de wan ka kire wo eni nti brei mu de mema abrofo enya susu kontombe ne ne akola wonte suku mu na ayire no ni aboro no pampe sa be frei adai na se won peso beka brofo na ne atwi na aka ni atwa abokwa eba no ho speak English na je se kosi broni na atesi krom ha omonsem se basa nanso omonsem mom ya de atuma yebu na je se no ene yebu abua na de be bra se Ghana o ma Ghana ni baba na baba be ma belisa no ma me ma chan ka say good morning idea na je se o de se be ebu de o kan no wa ko school de mu da munye enya asem papa kura na ekoso no ni se nti se na start afu wa mamboafuo yes bibi de phone ene abayi enya asem keto nanansa ma so ma me bi man twena fa nyina ya waja ne ba wo kwa afu tua na so ene hello sen fu nya odon komo fufu ene enya asem keto akura na abofra su kwa no kwa te se risia nam se e ma abofra na de ma no wunni wei wo so ne je onam se ma me dem wa mre sa pepepe wa mre kwa ebi mu ene ti ba bia asofo onum sabia bru sabi asofo num bi etua won sa won eye de obere be biara se be ya nipa no e be fa nyinsa na de nyame awadom obo so nkon na so de phone atua wa so kwasi bro ni ade obe kire ye asem ba kura ni e se de abro so e de obi tibi de phone ta na so a na de ani asese je puri tua na so na abofra agesi kwa so ana abofra iko abofra kito wo twa ka kwambo se nyenya me na ya adom ana ma no pa asem gina ho e bi sa se o ma no wa mo se ma me ana ekwe me na magina sa abofra 2 to 3 years assemble kura suni ya wu na wi ase ayaba ya da ne ho ani fu ase empede ye wo bia anye efe bibi empede ye wo bia anye efe afedi kwasi bro ni ba no ne asom abrofo aboe ene oka bofo na utia ene asmato ene esi edi wa ani edi di mu a ene nyina ye wura president eja baby o twemo ege so onu begina so ka brofo wati ene ede ne bram yesa na de edi na ye wo speak english ne de abo enti ese be so kwasi bro ni ya bebre na nsem e bete no ya bete no asum babu eso phone no aja akora mane nam phone no aja akora na wutie obi timi chatia enu ase because you ho ko hwe nkora bia obi timi chatia jo maame ma wode ne ba na gina jata no ho ena tese chati no a ena tese wo nipa fro adan momi ensua de yankasa ye wo at least wo be ye fu kora bibia udi ba bia nipa wona ne abofa no opa so ba dum na so abofa ne nsa bokobokoboko ne fa ne twem asem ba kora na mukra mo ha dwin sei asem ba kora si mini arama me mo achi bi
mejo so mama pat
na want to say
mejo so nyankopa do ho ye
radi nyankopa
se de ye adwumobo
edio me ka asem na asem
we die se de wo ka no
ena me fc mi obra na nansa
on say near say fire is a good servant but
asem na no
say phone ababa yes
ade ku mi pa chen bibia
but yen so me ne wo yesu man
sanu ni asem no na bro ni sa no ye no
mama pa de wo me say phone no ewo ebra ye yusu
ayo
ayenya so mfa so
mo na munim
ye wo ebra ye yusu ayenya so mfa so mama pa phone de ye poyempo aba be kan ye ho
e wo se ye yusu na mro so
na mom
e no kan bofo atia besero e mro so kwasi bro ni odum ye hokumye
wakumye no part na mom ye mom na wose de nyansa to ho e wo use e ya no krese se wo ye sukuu ni wo de phone ebe ka oduma bi a wudi ho ebe boawo ama wasua de na mama part mi gidi pa se
se bi a
dom na wo se wo ye researcher for some papa be na benya we gina race course dom wo se wo ye research enye yi ni nyina no eyese e wo sa udu o comfort zone bia ya wo betimi akenkan dia wo pen wo phone so na watimi adi code wate ase na se wonam ka kwan ho na wa na se one phone mfa so no nya two e be sad wa ko insohwem ka betimi betwia fa wo so
eno ni asem no
se benya driver fo nyina na o madwene eda
normal because inyanya me adu ye drive na mada woman ye drive but the thing say to da ya uchika nkra na refi hu asem bitimi si wa adwunum bibi timi ba phone so ena say ebi ye me e share back pocket ena obi frey obi ban frey no e vibrate ye very serious one them sim nam say hey this is why I catch them go for say don't put it in your bucket and then pocket and then drive. Yes, I'll be no problem. And one of them, even trying to take out the phone from my pocket, I have some phone.
You might even lose steer control.
What I say?
I don't know. Do you kwa say one day already want lose control. And also do you kwa na otimi pe ba bigina. Say you want to carry lose control. Na wa ujina kwa wono so.
E jene someone.
Away. Be careful so. Enti phone no de eni kwan say ebeje eja etina be say fire is a good servant and it can be a bad master. No phone de eni kwan say abian no kra because e kwan a first use no mama part is too much say obi gina baby a fa car na all train say car be ba mo na ye di motor ju fu a erade say no ade ba ko ne say emrante no mo jeje fu no me nka enchire ye natiefo say omo fe bi adverts adverts no mama part to ase
say the buy had ane de ebo ngingire
I don't know dabi adverts no say yem fa ne say wonam manhia anim hayi na yem fa ne say time ko yem fa say at the hours of bay 11 p.m. na mama part 11 p.m. na you phone na wo hwe video be ko na wo hwe e ba ne sa na advert enti distance no on ben with the
sister no TikTok so akohu ayi bi me amene no se kam beti no
man tell say o about the sana advert ni kire say when he actually say available say
okay
enti o about the sana your friend advert enti e be sere yanti advert ni so
it's too much
because man tell no omo ni abre omo nya wo say wayi wo sha advert no e dey say I was say after advert
used to the stance of refuge ba ukrano
after advert I was say ba onu botum why advert na wie no say who video na wo gina ho na wo video no dia wo ye no e public space enti e advert e de ma sa criminal no enti wo wi advert na no e was say phone free wo ho say wo mama pada na wo video na e was say e free ho ne ba me ho
aton wi
nti yenti advert ne so bia ejina no phone na wo hweso no sa moment no information no untimi enya so emfa so ya ho to wase drufie tenase you phone Opemsuo comfort zone bi ko to dem want to windows na hwe de opeso wo hwe na advert no eno ne ma mema no atwinhwim ye phone obi wo ha akotena cam ote cam ho na video e koso ebe wiase nyina opeso wo hwe
ba wo kan
e advert obefa ordinance befa window no magi
traffic go slow
e advert ni nyina ha enti e be sere
e me mani hia me
advert no yente so se ne be ya omo ba street ni so a omo nya obi afo no nje so omo about 3 months no omo nya obi afo na nyama apart enye adwuma fofo no mo akopai
obi gina ho obi na obeje
ye gira ho na afi ne pese ye hunu se me use that type of food me video de ni efe me screen ni efe me twa picture efe
yeah no
me sound emu da ho yes sir why o ya advert mrantie no so no omo so ba beje na omo so akopom say ye giant advert ne ya omo nya bibi enje wa bra krono aba omo adwene nti mama platform ne de very very good ye nipa no ye na ye mana ye bad abroso ye jira kwa wa ye consider ye
say to the extent say uja oba oru afi uba no phone is serious
si mama part ye besre phone de aba a ne ye ba betena na mum ye make sure say emfa insusu so bone embrain obi o wotimi the phone so man ba say je ko mobile money vendor ho na ka me mobile money token ne kire na yama
ai
enti kai hunu say obi a wonyire say oba no hia akwara na
obeje
obetimi yusu adwene bi e de ato akwara de agye phone no ene usika na obo yiri
obeje
enti ye besre
obeje
phone de kwan ye befo so
na ma chicha phone kwa akwadufo ade onu chicha kwa search no ba be chakura no maka chakura na kwa JHS1 class 6 you expect parents say on to phone from akura no akwa JHS1 on so ed akwa JHS1 class 6 who expect parents on to phone from akura
you are too aggressive for me there some no na issue
kafra
na so wodi wodi be shame edi mama fat say dey work no chicha phone no so no
omo ya kwadro
ebi so omo fa dey say omo kire akura no research
no na dey nti na say akwana entua a computer fee ene je be ni nyina amode gu office o na say mi ti say aban be chicha nkofo events computers na dey say mo fa nsu ade afa no wahi o ya no abo wedding dey acha kwan so be fia bra be search in yakopon so nze nka eche no ya brewa but we nkofo bi wa me no mo na me no mo te Aja say obi baba ene oba betra omu ni nyina oba wow sha gbofra ya se be aburu ofiri fie be ya ka chen say onko ye research was a topic we ya say onko fa we mra no wow sha onya kro ma me ne papa omu benya iPhone ne hu ye friend say omu frebi bebre Bubobi nani
tablets iPad
onya bi
no cre
onya bi
but say a burden to the period
onya bi bra akwaro na obi kwanyem ni adade obekọ na damfo ni afie
so ko pe
research acha say
but say another advert
asem basa bra anajo I think that last week we call yeah protect my friend anajo nyina na teacher ni no afre on call now why then biology then on phone enti so mufa Snapchat so and now so mun channel how to open Snapchat me say yes obi say ebi o mi fie how to open Snapchat and we fina me ba ma me ya aton bondi na siwo se mama wa bie ni won se de ade ne afa ye be I was say you ada ayi bi de course on video course enye normal camera ewu wa yi bebre wo so aya o eta yisu apps enti akra no egira phone so it was getting to 11 o'clock.
Wow.
Adeng mo hayu mo des nyame adum obi oba me de be man say jip fire enya me be jaba kwato a me hia na me fresi so ebi ho na mum de woni bie mum ye bibi on my ya mum ye nyina des wo nyesa phone be my problem including school na timi abodwa ho classes koye research JHS1 ko obi kurant mi tua ne ba de wo expecting onkoto one phone smartphone one no for my classes so in this case no omo etisa na do so what are we going to do phone be prayer
mo pata ba ni say dia na nya wo se omo a omo de school na no ene hu students a omo ye adwuma because unim say ebia wo de school fees no be too so no kura aye problem awo phone ntimi ntua
me the government school so nkwa na enu nwa
na me ka no mo de school na no
na wo area the school fees be too so
mama part school fees mpo
big so ntimi ntua wo school fees
average omo tua no eswase na
wo school fees obi a ntimi ntua books ntimi ntua wo ntua school fees ntimi ntua books school atade ese no wo aye mbeso se de se bi oni wura na sanse gogo research
na me ka no
fu yo
ntimi na fu adwe asudi we down so because already no number of students
dey man here dodo
omo school fees omo book skabi nyoma kitigiti bi abo ma adesua koso mpo wa onu say problem omo nya sempo bi atade se ebi no atade se mo de ba school kura no ebi wo kura ya wo headmaster
stress bi a menini onu kwa de first class mo eto aduane di na sanse ko e was smartphone
enti se de wo kan de e ba ne sana ene omo da school na no ene wo so mu hu omo enipa omo ne omo ye adwuma because se wo de skasam bi to border wo students na ho keka you school bi ho a ebia wo kase me mamon
beja o nipa ba ku mienu miensa gituma it is done ya register en kase school bu a omo fa ho keka waso ani oba school ko
and say
headmaster sa can sound
gene nipa ho
bra dia na wo kwan yuka kwan
ma pa no say enkan headmasters no mo consider no bebre
so enkan
so many things
enkan
empo ansana omo be make sure say omo the burden be to school ni bi so ama ne dia kofie omo hwe oni akro no awofo omo de mo
they say dia jamba cho dem you put to fry enya na ekro
nti dia wo kai de na ne omo da schools na no we die misusu se eyomo adwuma se ewo se omo ma teachers ni hu se ye ha no skatua ehun eden ma ye na wofo na ne ade ne ensa fa
books enu hia me their books ontimi to what I say obi entua na de awie school obi entua na de akotetem otu from kofu books no uvi say an open no as a man work say go and do researching acha what they abrem okofa no we nti I don't know going to learn
ebia efisi smartphone onyu nti afei na ono onyu no oba papa bia ma ono ne ba nti se de wo kan de yesusu ma phone cause problems emayen ene yema yesusu ma phone no enya susuaso e wo enkola na bi sua so enu kwan se akola eku school ne yema no phone no dwumadie nti odi tenefie se wo enya phone ebi tibisi se bia yema no assignment yema no dwumadie bi e wo so odi phone e na kohwehwe enya answer o fie no we na phone bi etimi anhwe
so mo nam go fo fie
a de chia de obeya ne se e wo se metenefie because me koni ebisa me a me hu e ba ne san so a eno kra ne ema akola no ofili se oye odd one
rejected.
Yes nti we di omo da schools na no omo hwe na se omo school no siska sam ehonye de omo make sure say phone dumadie no omo nyimfim na phone maaye no ne ye kosu ye ko transam to abra na phone maaye
piao
enti yese bia phone no ho no eno na ebe ma we actually aba ye be chawa tiase mama pat ye si su no na phone no ye
sua de
ye de nice si su sua de
bra
ye nom coffee stay awake and if you be say you too mining and I do over 1:30 2:30 3:30 every okra free classroom and call dormitory there almost 5 a.m. Satan na phone ni ho and so yetimi ya ne nemu amene na nanu madaroma yesu ye kasa na ensa koya no na phone mai phone de buy se ebe ma yedubadi a ye di no enyamre
mai
ambase bi mo beto so bone na ya di so ya brabo so
se da misia kola bi be 10 something o koyo se ye ma work phone so nti me koyo madam fufie se aw
ye kan kola di mama pat ye wa wofo bi ho a otimi de
Opemsuo
ne concentration na ko phone so mana tade a woto se
aden
it is yes ye kan kola nko apanfo ni nyina
aden
o ye maame a wo so hu bre a wo so hu so e bra wo so hu jama o ma
o si ni ona fu kra gbrum na akosim ni nyina me mate no mo hu hia me so me ma no
aha nti ye kan no de se maame no e discipline
fo ko ya wo ne yeku ya body ade bo a se wa no ayo ai
obi ho nam kejetia anadwebet
bra
ho na oba be messages akan e ba ne sana advert na wo ye no nti ba part phone ne de e ban se e be ma yedumadi ayemre amma se e de how ebrain enkanka ewo ye ma no esukusemo
ye da se papa enu abe ma no kanka ne ye ma no esukusem srew enye se ni nya binti obi nya bia enyama honte odi nya me din srew ye momoden se ye be se ade ne beto ye e de amayen emofra ne daachi wa oni fun sua ade na exams ba abede ne watwro wo se ma no work a onye work be ne onye oni fun ni bi oni bio so be de ne waye ye be sremani die kwanso ye be sremani die kwanso monhwe mofra mayen no mo daachi ehia ye pa etwa mo kitwa bi aba na me ba ene nkoma ye bedie no ahomte na fe areho na wie ya nso so anije ya yem hihie ada amtwa me homra sanse ni wa bi koso we abrabom ya na ye se saa na wo se eba nanso nye saa adentia emofrai obia wonaduma chede a sabi aburu ye de edrum no efi soro eba asasi so unhwemu a na bia koye se ya de nyan na konfanoche nia ode baaye sabi ya nsomu ye na du baabi na nkaniwa bia ene esisi simiamia na mso ebesi ya ebeye efutuo na yesan di sua de ya chocho bi obuku ahodo mu a yetene ho asema ka ba yire na no ye mede abrantie bi a no chiem se de ye ya ntantamen esi eba ye eda abre bebem no me ba be bom watie bi no so ko Pentecost isiamu bi na pani bi afum na obi ye se obebo ntantamen oso okoya no ka chen say ye mpem ma ommo adentia yabo asam so ya busumnyama asam ketwa ehwa na brantie efa amane nyina ene ode bo won die ntina meka ne sei adumacha de egu awuduo na adumacha de no eni years meka kire plane ni prefer ya de nyina Samuel bi ade babrum no ya bofra kitikiti ifie du miemu kenka babrum a obehu Sara ana nananum a abakọ ebinom nananum bie wona niwa am woti muo apapa e de ya yarefo ebra na dokuta eni ho e bisa ho se sabra na dokta eni ho nananum no mo ye den ade na masema wa abofra bi ena o maami firi mu ene woni o papa eyere ebetenai na titena ni mu no abofra ni huna de oda no osore a no aka de ho hu ene de yamfo ankomma sofo amana mbo deliverance and to baye no en firi mu sansa oda ye wa huna sema na bam abofra kro due ye bedo sawse ye be yaw basa eni ese no kura nya ma me sa no de enye sebmada nyina na enye ebi ye papa mo amoye no mo apiafo nyame o ma mo nkwa da stepfather samoye nso mo ewrade o ma mo nkwa enti abofra betra fio wo hu se bibi ba no aka sama sei ni mahu wo baifo dodo baye na yawo mo fa no nko ba bi pe bi fe nwo bi nko so so hunim wo baifo admacha de ni bi na adi ho agro yi hwe wom na abofra yi owu se papa bi anu ne tie papa no ayare no afrim eno bo ni ma me say enabiem enasu biem iye wrade na me huna na me kan na se o se mi jai ntine ye twa mo obi anyansa ne ewu se biribi e wonu mu no ebetimi aye adwuma na enso boa asase na nka bi ma ne emwa ye nsam baba ye nsam ne bi antwroye ne gum obi baba mo ne nsa na wotwe nso ya omi nsam
Opemsuo
ena abofra eden to kan nanka 40 days na husa abofra kura hu ade sunsum kakaka na de mesra wada wo no ade ko fia husa ma na etwam no odwuna ni se ya no hwew ene asesa na sade atie no adoacha de bia wo se somiye ne hwehwem ansa na ebuhu atan nti obewunu sa papa be yade no afrim na ade a emema na yade ni kuruma nyina so mu a yegene bram ampa papa yi yare firi mu a omo anfa abofra no asem na anya asem sanse wo ye jankaba nimbi obi to se jankaba nyama na no enu pepe wenye obi amana fa wo jija na na se wenye bi papa yi firi mu krom wo nyina ene ne step mother no kra na yi ni maaye abonten so yeje no ese ya na yei no asoda ye bi dada se wasan bofra bi otihwi mu wasan yade na tietia ne apidepidi bebenti mofra wad macha bi ntumi fa nya adwuma wo dabi o kan se so kan se kase bi wa no a panisam no atunidi no de ama bofra de atono so no asa bofra ne daachi wo de na no de on kase kan sei na fatu sei ne bo ye da titiru ne sabi on na woni bi ni nyankarum o ben fe ma mi ya bon baye da bi ehia fo ma mi nko ya bon baye na fe ni me be ya ya jama mi ato atwene enam se onim de nka fra na saada ye na bofra nka che o ma me ye fasem wa twatwam no oyi na firi ni chenda dada asem be ni eno na chi ye be pama bofra yi more than a rewo se bi aduane adisi anu mpo wo nya bi ni o baifo e de resi kwana ho enya papa ba na ebe efuna sabi nyo ayi e kan say enya ukun ba na ebe efuna wo ire ba ebe efu ukun ba no wo ebe efu no wo mu yi saa ne dankofo ano kumba bia kunuma mbenifo bebre aya de wonko bia no bebre benya baye bebre srama kan baye wo hu ade kro na ani ma de kro ade no ye ya wo befo sabi dia na ade ye no ma abofra no sabi wo benya baye ya samu mia me maami a wo mie betim de dia ye mfanto okọ sukuu ba da kro betina adan achi wo gina home atwene papa amya beto aduane ama no papa ko ba bia wo maaye na hwe ehwa ape ena komde no wo so otewo ena wo maami a wafiri mu ebre ni skaseje fato aduane de woni no fisanse wo firi mu no osua ena oje ena ode ntuma kakra oseje ntuma wo die o papa ba fuma no obenwu ni pakura diska ma auto aduane ahom tesem restore na me kachire on nyatro me was story si egum ntuma mu am kasa me kachire wa hwe ya obedwiri abofrey fa ne bag san ho ko manyina yi nama hwan ena ekoje no wonam wonam ba bi obeda bia nso na da ye no so ye wo sikani no na ne ba otihwe mu no na abam na brabom adakro ko pie baabi ne sikani ma na aduane mudi ka chense obey na me maduma metima sania de jai ne sabi omo hwe na tade hye ne ho fi na omo hwe se de wasi ayi retiri ho onsem fata so oba sikani ba ho edini ho edini nenso na de wa bofrei mu ene so ene ye ene wo se sikani no ne nsa eka na hwe de sa omo woro soa na skani se ne baisi papa me an try we bia na akofa asem papa bremi omo tamawura no ani fie ne nto aso de me kotwe video no nya sabi ensi no e bia me no nyina afa adwene saa se me America maku video yi e bi o me fie o abofra no sanse omo ntena senti no mu ni se asetra edin nyame adum be kan nipa binum nsa ewunu sa ade wa abofra mu ni na se ko gyin suku na oprichi a ho bedwiru ewie na mrenko ya de sa picture no video no betum no ahwa abofra ketwa ogina ho oprichi na suku fo bodje no so mofra Opemsuo mu ntontwene na ndobi akanti why ne bia na konfo anoche na atoso mienu a wode ne pa bro my Ghana mo mi ko video no Facebook Opemsuo Radio 104.7 na yenso ya mamu yi na daachi obetimi de bibipa abrem
accused of witchcraft by her own stepmother. Why? Because she had a rare gift, one the world didn't understand. Banished from her village, homeless, rejected, and wandering the streets, but destiny had not forgotten her. One day she crossed paths with a heartbroken billionaire whose only daughter had been crippled since birth. No doctor across the globe could heal her, but this homeless girl looked him in the eye and said one thing that shocked everyone. "Sir, I can make your daughter walk again." Was she crazy or chosen? Can a girl with no education do what the world's top doctors failed to do? Well, get ready to find out. Because this isn't just a story. It's a journey of pain, purpose, and an unforgettable miracle that will leave you speechless. So grab your popcorn, sit back, and whatever you do, don't click away. You need to see how this one ends. And if you're just joining us, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and turn on the bell so you never miss powerful stories like this one. Let's dive in. Chief Peter stood in the middle of his private gym, staring at the treadmill like it had just insulted him. Beside him, Princess sat quietly in her custom wheelchair. 17 years old, legs complete, not a single scar or defect. And yet, she had never walked, not one step. "You don't have to push me, Daddy," she said, her voice soft. "I'm not pushing," he replied quickly. "I'm just trying." "Trying what?" He had no answer. The gym was filled with equipment from Italy, machines that cost more than most families earned in a year. All useless. Doctors had flown in from London, Cape Town, Atlanta, neurologists, orthopedic surgeons, spiritualists. One had even claimed her bones were cursed by ancestral spirits. Chief Peter tried everything. Nothing worked. The last specialist from Germany had said it bluntly on the phone just yesterday. Your daughter's condition defies science. Her muscles function, her nerves respond, but she will never walk. He had hung up without a word. In a different world, just hours outside the city, Amaka bent over a wooden mortar, pounding bitter leaves under the sun. Her fingers were stained green, her palms raw from work. She was only 16, but she looked older. Life had shaped her bones early. Faster, Mama Nkechi barked from inside the house. Do you want to sleep without food? Amaka didn't respond. She knew the routine. Pound, sweep, wash, repeat. The more silent she stayed, the fewer slaps she received. Orphaned at 5. Taken in by a stepmother who never hid her hatred. And worst of all, Amaka was different. She had a strange gift. Sick people came to her. Sometimes by accident. Sometimes whispered about. She would crush herbs, give instructions, and they got better. Rashes disappeared. Pain stopped. Fevers broke. But instead of praise, she got fear. She's not normal, neighbors said. Be careful. That girl sees things in her sleep. Once she healed a child who was choking. 2 days later, the boy's mother said Amaka used spirit water. From that day, she was labeled witch girl. Still, Amaka never defended herself. Her power confused even her. She never asked for it, but it had cursed her all the same. Back in Banana Island, Chief Peter joined Princess for breakfast in silence. The table was lined with imported fruits, golden cutlery, and hand-wrapped pastries. He watched her pick at a croissant without eating. Would you like something else? He asked. No, should I? No, Daddy, I'm okay. He hated how normal their routine had become. He pushed his plate aside and leaned in. Would you like to go out tomorrow anywhere? She looked up, surprised. Out? Yes, maybe the park? You haven't been out in a while. She nodded slowly. Okay, just to see other people. Running. His heart tightened. Every little reminder of what she couldn't do cut deeper. That same night, Amaka sat outside her stepmother's hut, staring at the sky. She hadn't eaten. There was no dinner for her that day. Mama Nkechi said the yams weren't enough. She closed her eyes, tired. Then it came. Not a dream. A vision. A man in a black suit, grief in his eyes, standing beside a girl in a wheelchair. Her legs still, her face pale. In the vision, Amaka stood before them and said, I can make her walk. Then the man knelt crying, and the girl rose. Amaka gasped and opened her eyes. Her heart pounded. It wasn't just a dream. It felt like a command. Mama, she called softly, I saw someone. I think I'm supposed to help them. What nonsense again? Mama Nkechi snapped. You want to wake up the spirits with your madness? I saw a girl who couldn't walk. I saw myself helping her. A man. Her father, he looked like a rich man. Mama Nkechi's face hardened. So now you want to use your powers to charm rich people? Eh? So that they will serve you? You want to become madam overnight? Amaka tried to explain. It's not like that. But she didn't finish. The slap came hard. If I hear you mention that dream again, I'll bury you next to your dead mother. Amaka turned away, but deep inside she knew something had started. The world was about to change. The next morning, Amaka woke with a pounding heart. She hadn't slept well. The dream was still vivid, the man in the black suit, the wheelchair girl, the words she spoke. I can make her walk. It was haunting her, pulling at her spirit like a rope. In the kitchen, Mama Nkechi dropped a pot on the floor. Lazy witch, still in bed? You want to become madam in your dreams, Abi? Amaka came out quietly and picked up the pot. Her head was still spinning from the vision. Something is coming, she said under her breath. Mama Nkechi laughed. Something is coming, and it's carrying broom to sweep you away. But Amaka wasn't listening. She had another vision right there, eyes wide open. This time the man in the suit was kneeling, begging her not to leave. It faded in seconds. Her hands trembled. That same morning, Chief Peter sat in his office with his lawyer and his private doctor. She's been checked in South Africa, India, even Switzerland, the doctor was saying. Her nerves are fine, her bones are healthy, her spine is aligned, but still, nothing. The lawyer leaned in. Sir, forgive me, but maybe it's time to accept she may never walk. Chief Peter said nothing. His eyes were on Princess, who sat by the window of the lounge, legs still, eyes distant. She's not just my daughter, he muttered. She's all I have. The lawyer rose, embarrassed. We'll take our leave. Alone again, Chief Peter walked over to Princess. Are you sure you still want to go out today? She nodded without hesitation. He looked at her for a long time. Okay. Back in the village, Amaka was washing clothes when a woman from the next compound came running. Amaka, you're the one that sees things, Abi? Amaka stood still. Why? It's Chief Eze. He's sick, shaking, can't breathe well. Amaka's heart skipped. That name, that face, in her dream last week, she had seen Chief Eze clutching his chest. She told Mama Nkechi immediately. Mama, Chief Eze is going to die. I saw it. He needs to check his blood pressure. Maybe something is wrong with his heart. Mama Nkechi burst into laughter. You've started again? You want to kill the chief too? I'm not killing him. I saw it. He needs to go to the hospital. Should I carry you there so you can rub his chest too? Amaka shook her head and went quiet. That evening, Chief Eze collapsed in his compound. By morning, he was dead. No one expected it. He was healthy, no medical history, no warning signs, except Amaka's. By noon, the whole village was buzzing. She predicted it. She's the one who said it. What kind of child sees death like that? A group of elders gathered. Mama Nkechi was summoned. She told them everything. How Amaka had dreams, how she healed people with plants, how animals behaved strangely around her. She even talks to herself sometimes, Mama Nkechi added with a dramatic gasp. I'm afraid to live with her. I fear for my life. That was all they needed. By dusk, angry voices surrounded the house. Bring her out. She must go. Witch, murderer, Amaka tried to explain. I didn't kill him. I only warned. But her words drowned in the chaos. Mama Nkechi opened the door and threw a torn nylon bag at her. Leave my house, witch. Go and find your place among the spirits you talk to. Amaka didn't fight. She picked up her bag and walked away. Alone. By the time night fell, she was sitting by the back wall of the market, with a sack under her head and mosquitoes biting her legs. She hadn't eaten. She hadn't cried. She just kept seeing that man in the black suit in her mind again. This time he wasn't kneeling. He was staring at her, waiting. And in her chest, something whispered, go. Meanwhile, in Banana Island, Chief Peter parked his SUV outside the city's most luxurious children's park. He opened the door for Princess and carried her gently into her wheelchair. She smiled, taking in the sound of children running, laughing, living. For the first time in a long time, she didn't look sad. Chief Peter stood quietly beside her. For a brief moment, he forgot the pain, until a thought crept in. What if this is her life forever? He shook it off and smiled. You look happy. I am, she replied. Thank you for bringing me. He nodded, but deep inside his hope was dying. He didn't know that less than a mile away, a homeless girl had just risen from the ground and was walking toward fate. Amaka wandered from the market gate to a nearby shed. Her legs were weak, her stomach burned with emptiness. 2 sachets of water were all she had consumed in the last 24 hours. People avoided her like a disease. She begged for leftover akara from a roadside seller. The woman snatched her tray back. Leave this place! You want to use your witch eyes to poison my business? Amaka didn't argue. She moved on. She had no energy left to explain. She passed a group of schoolgirls. One of them pointed. Isn't that the girl they said killed Chief Eze? The others gasped. She's still walking freely? Let's go before she sees our future and kills us too. The words didn't sting anymore. Amaka's heart had already toughened. She found a piece of carton beside a closed provision store and laid her head down. Night was falling, But sleep didn't come. Instead, the vision came again, this time clearer. The man in the suit was standing in a garden. He looked exhausted. His hands trembled. Then the girl in the wheelchair reached for him and Amaka stepped between them. Her voice in the vision was calm, powerful. You gave me food. Now I give you your daughter's legs. Amaka sat up, her heart pounding. It wasn't just a dream, it was direction. She didn't know who they were or where to find them, but Lagos was calling her. She felt it. She stood, picked up her bag, and started walking toward the road. No plan, just faith. Across the city, inside a mansion guarded by 10-foot walls, Chief Peter was wide awake. He sat in his study, reading and rereading his daughter's medical reports. MRI scans, blood panels, therapy updates, a full folder, thicker than a law textbook, all of them saying the same thing. Nothing is wrong, but nothing works. The last doctor from Dubai had suggested stem cell therapy, but with no guarantee. Another dead end. He turned to a framed photo on the shelf, Princess, age 5, in a wheelchair, wearing a crown from a birthday party. She was smiling, but Chief Peter could still see the pain behind her eyes. His driver knocked gently. Sir, sorry, a message just came from your cardiologist. He said your blood pressure is too high. You need to rest. I'll rest when she walks, he said quietly. Sir? Never mind, go. The driver left. Chief Peter leaned back in his chair. Then unexpectedly, Princess wheeled herself into the room. You're still working? I couldn't sleep. She nodded, rolled to the window. I had a dream. He looked up. About what? I was standing, on the grass, walking toward you. He blinked. You... What? She turned. I saw you crying. I touched your hand. I said something, but I don't remember what. Chief Peter stood slowly. Don't say things like that. It's too cruel. It felt real. I know, he whispered. That's the worst part. By morning, Amaka had made it to the edge of the city. She had begged for transport. One bus driver let her hang by the back, half out, for free. When she got down near Surulere, she walked. People watched her with suspicion. Dirty girl, no shoes, torn wrapper. She walked through areas she didn't know, following only instinct. Eventually, she reached a roundabout with a large fountain. In the distance, she saw children playing inside a fenced park, and beside a black SUV, she saw him, the man from her dream. He stood beside a wheelchair. The girl, the exact girl. Amaka's heart skipped. She wasn't ready. She looked like a beggar. But the voice in her chest said, now. She moved closer, keeping to the sidewalk. When the man turned toward his car, Amaka stepped forward, but stopped. Fear choked her. What was she supposed to say? Would he believe her? Suddenly, he walked over to where she stood. Their eyes met. He reached into his car, pulled out a food pack and a folded N10,000 note. Take, he said simply. Eat something. Amaka accepted it. Thank you, sir. He nodded and turned back to his car. But something inside her screamed, say it. She took one bold step forward. She called out. He turned confused. I can make your daughter walk. Chief Peter froze. His hand was already on the car door. Princess sat in the back seat, quiet, watching. The guards glanced up, confused. His driver looked ready to push the girl away. What did you just say? Chief Peter asked. Amaka stepped closer. Her voice was calm, steady. I said I can make your daughter walk. The driver scoffed. Oga, this one day mad. She don't chop craze finish. Chief Peter raised his hand to silence him. Come again, he said to Amaka. I know it sounds crazy, sir, but I saw her. In my dream, I saw you. I was meant to meet you here. The silence was tense. Onlookers slowed down, trying to hear. A mother pulled her child away from the strange girl who claimed she could do what science couldn't. You know my daughter? Chief Peter asked slowly, suspicious. I've never seen her before today, but I saw her in my sleep. She was in a wheelchair. You were crying. I was standing in your garden. That shook him. Just last night, Princess had described that same dream. Him crying, her standing, walking. Coincidence? Or something deeper? The driver leaned in again. Sir, with all due respect, this is Lagos. This girl fit be ritualist. Amaka turned toward him. If I was evil, would I stop you from driving away? Chief Peter took a step back and studied her closely. Dirt streaked her skin. Her slippers were torn. Her wrapper was tied with a knot at the waist. But there was no fear in her face. No shame either. Just clarity. Princess opened the car door slowly. Daddy, she looks familiar. He turned. I think she was in my dream too. Now his heart started to race. This was too much. Two strangers, same dream. He turned back to Amaka. If you're playing games, I'm not, she said. I don't want your money. I don't want anything. Just take me to your house. Why? Because the solution is there. In your garden. The driver stepped forward again. Oga Abeg, this girl, they talk like person way they under spirit. No allow her follow us where'n we go talk if something happen. Chief Peter hesitated. Every part of him screamed that this was dangerous. But a smaller voice, one that sounded like faith, whispered, what if it's real? He looked at Amaka again. You'll enter the car? She nodded. You'll allow us to search you? She raised her arms. You can chain me if you want. Princess spoke up. Please, Daddy, just try. The guards looked uneasy, but Chief Peter opened the back door and gestured. Get in. Amaka climbed in quietly. The driver shook his head in disbelief and started the engine. The drive to Banana Island was quiet. Princess stared at Amaka with quiet curiosity. Amaka stared out the window, focused. Chief Peter kept glancing at the rearview mirror, watching both of them. He didn't know what to expect. A scam? A breakdown? Another disappointment? But something about her presence felt calm. When they reached the mansion, the guards at the gate looked stunned. Olga, who be this? She's with me, Chief Peter said. Let her in. As the gate opened and they entered the estate, Amaka's eyes widened. White marble walls, manicured lawns, 3 black SUVs, security cameras rotating from poles. Servants in uniform lined up as the car parked. She stepped down from the car quietly. One guard pulled Chief Peter aside. Olga, we fit search her? Yes, do it. Amaka raised her arms without resistance. The guards checked her bag, only a wrapper and a torn notebook. She's clean, sir. Chief Peter turned to her. You said something about my garden. Amaka nodded and pointed toward the back. That way. One of the guards moved to stop her, but Chief Peter raised a hand. Let her go. She walked across the lawn, past the fountain, past the trimmed hedges, then stopped near the corner of the fence. A low bush grew there. Most gardeners ignored it. Amaka knelt down, touched the leaves gently, then pulled at the soil. She brought out a thick reddish root. This is what will make her walk, she said. Chief Peter frowned. A root? Yes, it grows in very few places. It strengthens dead nerves when cooked right. Your staff probably saw it every day and never knew. Are you saying herbs can do what medicine couldn't? I'm saying faith can, she replied. Princess wheeled closer. It smells strong. Amaka broke off a small piece and chewed it. If it's poison, I would be dead by now. Chief Peter looked torn. His hands trembled. You want my daughter to eat this? Only if you believe. He turned to Princess. She looked him in the eye. I believe her. The mansion was in chaos. Chief Peter's personal doctor had been called. His head of security stood alert. Even the maids had gathered in a corner, whispering. Everyone stared at the strange, ragged girl who sat confidently at the center of the grand kitchen, boiling a thick root from the garden in a stainless pot. Sir, this is dangerous, the doctor said. We don't know what's in that thing. She already tasted it, Princess replied from her wheelchair. She's fine. That means nothing, the doctor snapped. Every human body reacts differently. You want to risk organ failure? Death? Chief Peter stood in silence. He had fought so long for hope, and now that it stood in his kitchen, dirty, barefoot, uneducated, it didn't make sense. Daddy, Ben, Princess said gently. What if this is what we've been waiting for? He turned toward her. What if it isn't? Then we'll know we tried everything. The doctor leaned in again. Sir, I beg you, this is a bad idea. Let us run tests on the root. Lab work, blood sampling. Give us 48 hours. We've waited 17 years, Princess said. If we wait longer, I might lose the courage. The room went silent. Chief Peter looked at Amaka, who simply nodded. I'm not asking for your trust, sir. I'm asking for a chance. Half an hour later, the boiling was done. Amaka poured the thick brown liquid into a clean glass cup and placed it before Princess. Drink half now, the rest before bed. Chief Peter stood by the door, his arms folded. His face looked carved from stone. Princess reached for the cup. One of the guards stepped forward. Sir, do we allow this? Chief Peter didn't respond. Sir, the doctor repeated. Louder now. We're all looking to you. Then Princess drank, no drama, no shaking, no foaming at the mouth. She placed the empty cup on the table. Everyone waited. 5 minutes, nothing. 15 minutes, still nothing. Then she yawned. Runningly, I feel very sleepy. Chief Peter rushed to her. Are you okay? Are you dizzy? Heart beating fast? No, I just feel tired, like I want to sleep. The doctor checked her pulse. Normal. Her eyes began to close. Daddy, can I rest a bit? Just a little? Chief Peter helped her into her room himself, tucked her in, pulled the blanket over her legs, watched her sleep like he had watched her as a baby. But now his hands were shaking. When he returned to the living room, Amaka was still sitting calmly, her hands folded on her lap. Where did you learn this? He asked. I didn't. It comes to me. He nodded slowly. People have called you names, haven't they? Yes. Which? She smiled faintly. Many times, he sighed. My entire life, I've trusted people with degrees and lab coats. But tonight, I trusted a barefoot stranger. Amaka looked up. That's what faith looks like. He didn't respond, just nodded and walked away. That night, no one slept. 2 guards were posted outside Princess' room. Chief Peter checked her breathing every 30 minutes. He paced the hallway like a man waiting for a verdict. At 3:47 a.m., she turned in her bed and mumbled something. Chief Peter rushed in. Princess? She yawned again. Still sleepy? Anything wrong? No, just dreaming a lot. What did you see? She paused. I was in a field. Running. He froze. Then I looked back, and you were smiling. But not sad smiling, really smiling. He left the room without a word. Downstairs, the guards offered Amaka a mattress to sleep on in the servants' quarters. But she declined. I'll sit here, she said, till morning. She sat by the garden fountain, hugging her knees. For the first time in years, no one was throwing stones or curses. No one calling her witch or demon. It was quiet, peaceful. But she wasn't celebrating yet. Miracles take time. She knew that. By morning, Princess was still asleep. Chief Peter stared at her from the doorway, his eyes bloodshot, his hands twitching. He had prayed more that night than he had in the past 10 years combined. When she stirred again and opened her eyes fully, his heart jumped. Daddy, she whispered. Yes, my love. I think I'm hungry. He smiled with relief. You'll eat anything you want. But inside, he was screaming for more. She hadn't moved her legs. Not yet. Amaka watched from the garden, silent, waiting. By the second day, Princess was still asleep more than awake. When she opened her eyes, she spoke softly, ate very little, and drifted back into dreams. Chief Peter didn't leave her side. He had canceled all business meetings. His phones were off. His only focus now was her breath, her pulse, and the hope that something, anything, might change. But nothing did. The mansion grew quieter with each passing hour. Guards spoke in whispers. Servants moved like shadows. Even the birds in the garden seemed to chirp more cautiously. The doctor had stopped arguing. She's stable, he said. Her blood pressure is fine. No sign of toxicity. But medically, there's no explanation for this prolonged sleep. Chief Peter asked only one question. Is she in danger? No, the doctor said. But I can't explain what's happening either. He nodded. You don't need to. Downstairs, Amaka sat alone in the sitting room, under the large chandelier she hadn't dared to glance at before. One of the maids brought a rice and stew on a ceramic plate, different from the stainless one they used the first day. They were warming up to her, but the stares remained, the suspicion, the silent judgment. She heard them whisper at night, "What if she poisoned the girl slowly? She hasn't even touched the Bible since she came here. Witch or not, something is off." Amaka didn't respond. She knew how this worked. She had lived it all her life. People fear what they can't control, especially when it wears rags and doesn't speak their language. What hurt wasn't the whispers. It was the silence of the man who brought her here. Chief Peter hadn't said a word to her in over 24 hours. He didn't ask how she was, didn't even look her way. That was the price of belief. Faith sounded beautiful in books, but in reality it felt like being watched by everyone and trusted by no one. On the third day, Chief Peter finally came downstairs. His eyes were sunken, his shirt untucked. He looked like a ghost of the man who ran a billion-naira empire. He walked up to Amaka. She stood immediately. "Still nothing," he said, voice low. Amaka nodded once. "It's not time yet. You said the solution was in my garden." "It was. But she's not walking." "Not yet." His jaw clenched. "Give me something. A sign. A reason to believe." She looked at him directly. "Do you remember what you gave me the day we met?" He paused. "Food. And 10,000 naira." "Exactly. You gave freely to someone the world ignored. No camera, no intention. Just kindness. And that moment was your offering. You planted the seed. You didn't know it, but your miracle began before I opened my mouth." Chief Peter said nothing. "You're looking for results, but faith doesn't start with outcomes. It starts with obedience, Amoawisi." He swallowed hard. "You sound like a prophet." "I'm not." "Then who are you?" She smiled faintly. "A girl God didn't forget." That night something changed. Princess stirred restlessly in her sleep. She whispered things they couldn't understand. At one point she cried out softly, "Stop pushing me. Let me stand on my own." Chief Peter rushed in. "Princess?" She was asleep again. The doctor stood nearby. "Her body temperature is rising slightly." "Is that bad?" "I don't think so." Amaka stood at the doorway, watching. The next morning, when Princess opened her eyes fully, she didn't speak. She stared at her legs for a long time. Then she looked at her father. "I feel different." Chief Peter moved closer. "Different how?" "My feet, they're warm." He dropped to his knees and touched them. They were. He looked at Amaka. She didn't speak. She just nodded. Once, still, Princess didn't walk. Not yet. But the atmosphere shifted. The staff stopped whispering. The guards greeted Amaka with eye contact. The cook offered her yam and tea without being told. Chief Peter came to the garden where she sat that evening. "I haven't said thank you." She looked up. "Because nothing's happened yet?" He nodded. "You don't owe me thanks," she said. "Just truth. When this is over, tell the truth about me." He didn't answer, but he sat beside her, in silence. That was enough for now, because belief had already cost them all something. Comfort, control, pride, and that was the price. The morning was quiet, too quiet. Chief Peter hadn't slept. He sat by Princess' bedside, arms folded, heart racing each time she moved. It had been 4 days since she drank the strange root mixture. 4 days of waiting, watching, hoping, and nothing. Yes, her legs were warm, her breathing strong, but no movement, no sign of a miracle. Only sleep, silence, and stillness. He was beginning to think he had been fooled. He left her room just after 7 a.m., walking slowly down the hallway. His guards stood in place. Maids whispered greetings. Amaka sat in the garden staring into the morning sky. He didn't speak to her. He didn't have the strength to. At exactly 7:42 a.m., something happened. Princess opened her eyes and didn't just blink. She sat up quickly, breathing fast like someone waking from a heavy dream. Then she whispered, "I need to stand." The nurse in the room froze. "What?" Princess threw off her blanket. "Please, I need to stand." "You shouldn't. Let me call your father." But she didn't wait. She turned, shifted her legs over the side of the bed, and lowered them to the cold marble floor. Her toes touched down first, then the sole of her foot, then her heel. For the first time in her life, her legs held her weight. The nurse gasped, "Jesus!" Princess rose slowly, her knees shaking, but she stood by herself. She wasn't dreaming. She wasn't falling. She was standing. And then, step by step, she walked to the door, barefoot, unsteady, but real. Chief Peter heard the nurse screaming before he saw her. He ran toward the noise, heart pounding, afraid something had gone wrong. Then he saw her, walking toward him. "Princess?" She smiled. "Daddy, I can walk." He dropped to his knees. His hands covered his face. For a long second, he didn't move. Then he cried out, loud, broken, overcome. "My God, my God!" He grabbed her, held her, kissed her face 100 times. "You're walking. You're walking." She laughed through her own tears. "I don't know how, but I can." Behind them, the mansion burst into noise. Maids screamed. Guards rushed to see. The doctor collapsed into a chair, whispering, "This isn't science." And outside, Amaka was still in the garden. She didn't flinch when the gates burst open and Chief Peter ran toward her. "She's walking," he said, breathless. "I know," Amaka replied calmly. He looked at her like he was seeing her for the first time. "You did it." "No," she corrected. "You did." He stared at her. "Me? The day you gave me food without knowing who I was. That was the price. You paid it in kindness." He went silent. "You fed someone the world rejected, and God remembered." His voice cracked. "How do I thank you?" "You don't have to." He turned to his guards. "Bring her new clothes, shoes, everything. Let her look like the queen she is." He brought her inside. The maids bathed her gently. She changed into a flowing dress one of the guests had left behind. They styled her hair, gave her a proper meal with cutlery. The guards saluted her without being told. When she finally stood in the living room beside Chief Peter, she looked nothing like the girl at the gate, but her eyes were still the same. Still kind, still calm, still pure. Later that evening, when the house was calmer, Chief Peter called her aside. "Amaka, I've spent millions. Doctors, hospitals, prayers. Nothing worked. You changed my life. My daughter's life. Tell me what you want. A house, a car, 10 million, 20? She smiled gently. "Nothing." He blinked. "Nothing? I don't want anything. Not your money, not your house, oh my girl." "Then what do you want?" She paused, her voice low. "I want my name back." He frowned. "Your name?" "I was thrown out of my village, accused of witchcraft. People called me evil for a gift I didn't ask for. I want the world to know the truth, that I'm not a curse, I'm not a demon, I'm not a witch. I'm just a girl who helped." Chief Peter's eyes filled with tears again. "I swear to you, Amaka, I'll make the world know who you really are." She nodded. "That's all I want." Then she turned away and walked out into the evening air. For once, not as a beggar, not as a stranger, but as the girl who made the impossible possible. 3 days later, Amaka stood on a polished stage in front of flashing cameras, dressed in a pale blue gown that flowed gently around her feet. A quiet hush settled over the hall. Journalists, doctors, public figures, and influencers filled every seat of the private press conference. At her side stood Chief Peter, his hand gently on her shoulder, and beside him, Princess, standing tall, without support, without wheels, without shame. Every camera in the room was pointed at them. Chief Peter stepped to the microphone. "For 17 years, he began, I searched the world for a cure. I went to hospitals in South Africa, Switzerland, and the U.S. I paid every consultant, every specialist, every healer. Nothing worked." He paused, eyes damp. "But then, I gave food to a girl at a park, a girl I didn't know, a girl the world had already thrown away." Murmurs echoed in the crowd. He turned to Amaka, then back to the cameras. "Her name is Amaka. She is not a witch. She is not cursed. She is not a fraud. She is a gift." Flashbulbs popped. Reporters whispered, "This girl did what science could not. She gave me back my daughter, and all she asked in return was to be cleared of the lies the world pinned on her." He stepped aside. Amaka stood still for a moment, then approached the microphone. She cleared her throat softly. Most of you don't know me, and maybe some of you don't believe what you've heard. That's okay. I've lived most of my life being doubted. She looked down for a second, then lifted her chin. I didn't go to school. I didn't grow up in a mansion. I never saw my parents live long enough to explain why I am the way I am. All I know is people come to me sick, and sometimes, somehow, they leave better. She paused, but instead of being called gifted, I was called a witch. The room...
Kofubi no say ejabi wa jabi ti asede kan dada wisia no kre ye ya se na si fuwe ye janka badam papo no bra oba bomanti wai enwa ya de ma wono ya na enwa ye my wish is say nyabe ya dum na ko biara e de ya obewu ni du se obewu a ka enu semofra no etimi anya baabi agina anya baabi atena aye won nioma ye ansa na betimi a na wade be makwana na no bepene so a waja mofra yi ho sanse enye otan kiki na mabofra yi epi abonti anka sabi nda so tie kurase ekura keto anum ami abone bayi and na koma sabi asofo bi no a na so no kano aya bofra basa se mebi abetwem bofra bi a eyi ni tiri nyina be eso bafo ya buru no awie ede na to konson na ede no abo asemiase ai ni nyese bikohunu bi sa bra na me start adwuman na se admacha de ni nyina ye bagie de wo mofra num daye no waso no obo amane so daye num bo paye ebi kura na nam daye no so na nyame de bie kwan de amaw eso aso daye se wahia papa na waye papa no adoye na papa yi adom no na fie no achi obesane bayade nya wonwa ne bana so so daye te saa enya wonwa me say konfa no chemo admacha dia oso de ma ho a sasefo aso no enu yu ensa yu ko ba bia edaso eye adwuma ema ne mu ti mesrew eni die kwan so sa bofra biara woni se wo kekra se makase na ode nsem bi esi nani so na watimi aye wa mamre kwan so no ntone ntwene wate na woni ba bia mo ye die be firi beba emmon ba yi ansa wate ko hwem na da so nye baifo na sabio nya sasamka nye ba yi na dema nyame tumi ade nyina yo eyi ena kwa Samuel ada ena ni wura nso da ne dem wo ti asem no ti din Samuel o san ti biem Samuel o te ba ku bia no ko ni wura ho ko bi san papa wa frɛ me osmin frɛ o ate bi etosumi enu no akɔ papa wa frɛ me osmin frɛ o bi etosumi ensa oso kɔ na o te nene saara aya mia wani e ka che nene se kasa no akɔ awetie wo enna kasema to he o te tensam o da o tensam o tisi afra o e yewurade e breke kani tonso abebo ye de break and loose Holy Ghost fire akurei wo huna mane na de ya ne sabofra we die mane de wo hu bi bayi edinya hodo na de frɛ no na ba bia ye me de ye twa bra abofra no sorry na efie ho ye din eye imadio edua ihuni na abofra yi enuan onum bi no de dia kama sikani ni bansa nom sabi ye chance ni mu aso a nka abofra yi wantimi anante ne nkwa na nyina adoma kyɛdeɛ ne nam nipa mu ɛsrɛ wani die kwan so sɛ kɔba sɛ biribi saa apie ɛwɔ fie a bɔ ho ban hwɛ ne yie ebi a ɔno koraa bɛkyɛn deɛ adi kan aba sɛdeɛ ɛyɛ mpanimfoɔ de bi ka asɛm sɛ naasɛ ɛtu ɔba a yɛ di education hwɛ sɛdeɛ wama asante atrɛ bi a na woba no ebi a na gyanka ba no ebi a wokunu ba no ebi a woyere ba no biribi wɔ ne mu a woyɛ ne yie bɛka fie hɔ na ama yiedie atoa wabrabɔ maame deɛ wɔahu ne saa ɔbɔkuro paa neɛ pam abɔfra yi pagya ne nneɛma maa no kɔ anwene baabi ɔkɔda anyɛ ataadeɛ anwene aduane anwene baabi bɛkɔ akɔwie no na mpanimfoɔ sɛ wasoma berewa na baabi bɛkɔhwe deɛ ɛfa ho bɛn nokorɛ daa m'ani bɔɔ video so mesuama kasɛm yi ho ɛkyerɛ sɛ yɛma no nyinaa obiara ne deɛ ɔde firi soro ɛba ɛnɛ ama adoma kyɛdeɛ ayerayerayera including akristofoɔ yɛato atwene ɔtete nsɛm na ɛyɛ dɛn ɔte ne din na ɛyɛ dɛn ɛyɛ dɛn na baasa ama part mɛsere sɛ abɔfra biara saa wode wontena ase a fa ne bɛyɛ wontena ase a fa ne bɛyɛ na nananom bɛdom aboa wo na nyame ahyira so afiri soro ma abɔfra no adeɛ a wɔ ne mu ɔde ba asase so no atumi anyini obiara ne ne deɛ obiara ne ne deɛ nyame ɔnhyira yɛn papapapapa